Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zentangle Explore. I am so excited that you're here to draw with me, either live or on the replay. This is a class where we draw lines really, really slowly, using a Zentangle pattern as to give us something to do. You will need some small pieces of paper, something you can hold in the palm of your hand, and a pen. And any pen will work. Well, this is a 08. I have a 08, a 01. And permanent would be nice if you want to add watercolor or something to it. So we're going to start out with some brief meditation and centering, and then we're going to draw for a nice long time. So you can get nice and comfortable in your seat. You can close your eyes if you like. I'm going to close mine. And we're just going to settle in. And perhaps just start with feeling your feet on the floor. Just sense what they feel like. If they're in shoes or socks or bare feet, just maybe perhaps feel the temperature of the floor or fabric or shoes against your feet. And then maybe the space where you're sitting. Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it squishy? Is it cold or is it warm? Can you feel your clothing on your legs? Just sink into that sensation, whatever that is. And if anything's calling your attention, just give it a little wiggle, a little breath. It's okay. Time to relax. Settle in. And perhaps relax the shoulders. Maybe relax the jaw or the forehead if there's any tension there. And just find your breath. Inhale and exhale. Allowing any thoughts or any tension just float away on the exhale. And at the top of the inhale, notice there's a little stop. It's a little rest. And then the exhale follows. And a little rest. Now perhaps expand that inhale. See if you can take it with your imagination all the way up to the top of your head and down to the bottom of the feet with the exhale. And then perhaps expand it past your head up to the ceiling or the roof of whatever building you're in, and down past your feet into the earth on the exhale. So allowing that inhale and exhale to expand. Noticing how high you can make it go. And then an equal amount down into the earth. Perhaps your inhale goes up past the trees and the clouds. Maybe it goes up to the moon. And falls back down, all the way down into your knees, down through your body, all the way into the earth, all the way down, down, down past the rocks, past the water table, past everything, all the way into the center of the earth, and returns back to you again. And we're going to take an inhale together and a nice sighing exhale. A nice inhale together and a sighing exhale. And One more inhale together. And a sighing exhale. Ah. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. You know that whatever we create together, and whatever you create in your day today, will be perfect just as it is. Okay. Thank you for doing that with me. I find it really helpful to do a little centering before drawing. So I'm going to switch my camera and then we will draw. So I just have a couple of pieces of paper here. Any size you would like will do. And I'm going to draw with a 0.1 micron, but you can draw with whatever you want. You can have multiple pens to draw with if you'd like. And this is a miscellaneous tangle, which means I don't know who created it. I'm calling it jump. The goal is to draw really, really slowly. I'm going to start with a line off the page, a nice slow line. And I'm going to curve this line. This line's going to have a companion line. I'm going to turn my tile in order to draw this so I can see my spacing. And I'm going to start narrow and then expand. If you need to pick your pen up, that's okay. Just start back on the line again. So we have a shape that looks something like that. Just to begin. Just to begin. And then you can take this in whatever direction you like. So the next thing is going to be little curved bands. And notice they don't touch to each other. They just float along like little stripes. Just with this gentle little arch in the line. And we're drawing them so slowly. Breathing and drawing. And you could change the width of these little bands. And you could space them further apart, or you could make them wider just on their own. And then these bands get colored in. And I love coloring in because it's an opportunity to just really slow down and watch the ink sink into the page. This doesn't come with a little highlight. I'm going to teach you a little highlight here. What you can do is color right into the center. and leave a little space. And it creates a little highlight. Sometimes when I begin coloring, I want to rush to finish, but it's not a very joyful way to go about drawing. To bring myself back and say, slow down, relax your hand, practice relaxing the hand, all kinds of time. And practice and see how lightly I can touch page with a pen and still be coloring in so lightly. You could also use a thicker pen to fill in. You don't have to put this highlight in. You could make your little band solid. The example I have of it, the bands are solid. This little highlight's just really fun to draw, create. If you don't like coloring in, you could put horizontal lines or vertical lines or diagonal lines. Some sort of textured fill would be absolutely perfect. If you had color, you could use different colors to color these bands. Remembering to breathe. Go slowly. Sometimes a nice texture is of a circular motion with your pens. You're really just scribbling, artistically scribbling. It's fun to do, and it really does make a nice background texture because you have some dark ink and you have some light spots that show up in the circles. You could fill these bands with circles, orbs. You could leave the bands white and you could fill in the background spaces. So many different ways to play with this pattern. It's so simple, it looks as if it has to be one way. Rarely is that the case. In Zentangle patterns or even in life, I always think things have to be this way, and they don't. I just haven't thought of a new way to do it. But once I put my mind to it, there's almost always a new way to do just about everything. I think humans would be really bored if that weren't true. If you had to do everything the way your parents said you had to do it, well, that would be boring. Never learn anything new except what they teach you, which is valuable. It's also valuable learning how to do it your own way. Just taking time. It's possible I'll get my larger pen out. But I don't have to. I can just go slowly. So if I want this to come out into space, I can. It doesn't have to go off the page. If I want to overlap them, I can start my next line somewhere where I know it's going to cross. And then when I get to my first object, I just stop, watch where that line goes behind, and start again on the other side. These don't have to be narrow and then wide on one end, although it's fun to draw them that way. You could draw your second line, your parallel aura line here, second side to your road. Making equidence distant. I'm going to see what little skinny bands look like. This class is all about exploring. So you can do whatever you'd like to do. Really slowly to remind myself to slow down. Slow down. It's a really good practice to do something that feels challenging, like coloring in large spaces in a slow drawing class. Find it interesting to see all the different things that my brain has to say about it. Yeah, taking too long. People will get bored. I want to color this in. All kinds of nonsense. And I get to choose whether or not I'm going to listen or not. You get to answer whatever what if questions pop into your mind. My what if question at the moment is what if this line had a wiggle? You can experiment with these little crossed bands here. You could make them straight across. You could color in half of them. I don't know if I like that. I can always go back and change it. Remembering to breathe, relax that hand. Slow down. Do something fun with mine, which is not part of this pattern, but it's a really fun way to play. I'm going to take my ends of my little crossbands here and loop them around. Create a little ring. And then on the edges, I'm just going to connect the top there and the bottom. And then I'm going to put a little orb highlight in there. Just looping those ends. And finishing off the edges with a little ribbon, a little wiggle on the line. This little orb in the center, like a little belt buckle or watch face. It's just another way to do a highlight. You color in behind the black and then the white shows up. exploring in any way that you find interesting. It doesn't have to look anything like what I'm doing. You have your very own ideas of what's interesting. And you have a pen, and you have some time and your breath and a piece of paper, and you are able to explore in your own way. Really slowly. You can start a new piece whenever you'd like. Or you can keep drawing on one piece of paper. It's up to you. I wonder about even using a larger pen to fill in, which goes faster, but I still find that I need to remind myself to slow down. No need to rush. Relax the hand. Breathe. Always fun when these layer and over and interact with each other, but they don't have to. You could just have a whole page of them just doing their own thing independently. There really are no rules, there are only loose guidelines. And you can ignore them whenever you like. I want to do something. Like a little scribble here to show you what it's like. I'm not even myself to get too weird. Slow down. Relax the grip on the hand. Very playful pattern. So see how playful you can be with it. What does it want to do? What does it want to look like? How does it want to dress up? Beautiful little bands. You have a pen. You can make it happen. And if you draw a line that you did not intend, just add another line. Make it look as if you did intend it. One of the most beautiful parts about drawing is Zentangle method. So there are no mistakes, no erasing. Just beautiful opportunities to experience something new that you didn't expect. It's something, in fact, happens that is unexpected. The other thing I love about Zentangle is there's no Zentangle police. Nobody comes around and says, you didn't draw enough. You didn't make that up. You put a wiggle on that line. It's supposed to be straight. You can draw it however you like. Sometimes it takes me a little while to really sink into a pattern and start to explore it. I stick with it long enough, though, it does happen. And there's absolute value in just drawing it the way it was created, becoming familiar with the shape of the lines, familiar with the so-called guidelines of what it does. So that when you do get an idea about how to change it, explore it, you know what the parts are. Here we have a long tube, I suppose you would call it, or band, and then a lot of shorter bands that go horizontally across. All of those lines could have wiggles and bends in them. They could branch off. All kinds of things could happen. And you have the power to explore them with your breath, your path. Here are my explorations. Thank you for drawing with me. I always love it when you draw with me. If you'd like to donate to this class, paypal.me/eternal possibility, and the link is below. And if you'd like more slow drawing, you can check out the other videos on my YouTube page. And you can also go over to mindfulartstudio.com. Amy Miracle does slow drawing parties on Wednesdays with nature patterns. And she was the inspiration for this class. So I always love it when people go check out her work. All right. I hope you enjoyed this class, and I hope to see you again.